Me. Let me click on the appropriate things. Hi, I'm BoredGamer. AMAs Ask Me Anything. So, you know, just a outdated format. It's to encourage people to ask questions during the live stream, because that's what the content is basically on. Started us some new things and what people want to ask about. I use it as a way of working out or helping to work out what I'm going to do throughout the week or what hot topics are, that sort of stuff. There's a podcast going up in the next like 3 hours or so from Zin and I. We talk a bit about 4.0.1, but also more about articles where CIG C-suite staff are leaving or being moved around or whatever, but it looks like that's not really the case. Lots of talk about like Roger Godfrey, Eric Cohn Davies, Carl Jones, and people leaving. Now, EKD, Eric Cohn Davies, not sure if he's actually left. He's just been removed from the About section on the Cloud Imperium Games website, but he's still on his LinkedIn. He's still the chief people officer, or whatever. So there's been weird stuff about that. Lots of random articles appearing. They're all based on really vague information, like the most I reckon rumor. Yeah, it's just a bit weird. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm quite enjoying 4.0.1. I want it to get a bit more love, a bit more stability, a bit more refinement, and then go on to the preview and then live servers. Hopefully that will all be done by the end of January, although it's quite possible that they just have it planned by the end of March or something. Like, it's hard to work out the current pace of what's going on with Star Citizen. You're right, Wiley Type. You're doing well, sir. Yeah, feel free to ask any questions during the live stream. Question in brackets, and then sort of ask away. Or if you've got a topic you want to talk about, I'm gonna hang around for a bit, and then I'm gonna go have a nap because I'm pretty tired. Played board games all weekend, or a good portion of the weekend. Been playing Oathsworn, or like 2/3 of the way through now. I think we're on sort of mission 15 or 16, chapter 15 or 16 of 21. Yeah, argue almost 3/4 or 3/4 of the way through. Oh, you had pneumonia, Wiley. Oh, jeez. I'm glad you're doing good now. So, if you're talking about item lockers, physicalization of item lockers, suit lockers, stuff like that working properly, I would expect that later this year. I'm not entirely sure when. You could potentially do it at the same time they do engineering and life support, which I'm expecting now, really thinking about it, 4.1. I was expecting it originally for 4.0 cycle, but I would expect it actually in the next major patch, because it looks like they're trying to get Star Citizen as playable as possible and sort of expand some bits out at the moment, and that's the main priority. I suspect they'll want to refine engineering a bit, get it on the preview build, and then get it out to live for 4.1 would be my expectation now. So anything that you do in 4.0.1 now in the PTU build will not stick for the preview build, and then assumedly that will probably and should be carried over to the live build of 4.0.1. So if you're in if you're in the preview build, stuff will carry over. That's the plan from CIG. They might reset stuff if they need to. And the updates and changes to 4.0.1 in general, that should all be sticking / improving, or when that goes on to the preview, if you see what I mean. But not your progress in that PTU patch. PTU patches don't carry over progress. People freak out about staff moving, but that's the industry. It's not a reasonable thing to use as an indication of CIG stuff. I mean, it depends, right? If there's like dozens of teams and staff all leaving at the same time for the same reason, that would be an indication of something going wrong, right? But when it seems to be a potentially, what it looks to me like a less than normal industry amount of people, so it looks like they actually have relatively good retention compared to the rest of the gaming industry at the moment, especially. Yeah, I don't see an issue. How do you think CIG can help bridge the relationship between pirates and haulers? So many people seem to hate the idea of negotiating and reject communication entirely. So some of that is because of Star Citizen being incomplete, right? There's not as much reason to be a pirate because they haven't got the full gameplay loops there, although there's more and more of that now, and much more legitimate gameplay. But it's come from a place where it didn't really used to be a legitimate gameplay. You had to sort of force it in, and you didn't get any rewards for doing it as a pirate. You were literally just ruining someone else's fun. At least that potentially could be their point of view, right? You're like, you're not getting anything out of this. All you're doing is stopping me from doing what I want to do. Why? And it's like, well, because I'm trying out pirate gameplay. I'm trying to represent what I want pirate gameplay to be and involve that, and I want to be a pirate. You're just playing without piracy gameplay. You're playing an incomplete game anyway. What's the problem? So it's come from a place of it's only really been relatively newly supported in the way you can actually loot stuff more properly and soft deaths and stuff like that, and that stuff's still evolving, right? You just want to have the risk and reward there, right? Go, look, if you're in these areas, piracy is much more likely to occur, both PvP and PvE, and you go there, you run the risk doing that. You can't then complain about it, right? But you get rewarded being in those more risky areas and doing those more risky trade routes. Just everyone being like, you want to play this way, you go over here. You want to play this way, you go over here. That's the way I do it anyway. Why was CIG so quick to fix the duping bug that you had to pay for, but I'm still getting drinking bug, elevator bug, stations opening 5 and everything? So a lot of that stuff is fixed in 4.0.1, right? That's where those fixes are occurring. You say so quick to fix the duping bug. I do think there's a level of CIG wanting. I think there will be, in the future, insurance that covers the loadout of your ships and returns the loadout as you had it. So some of this duping will be legitimate. Other parts of it will not be. People are using it for both legitimate, semi-legitimate. But some people are using it to exploit. CIG don't want that. Some people are going, well, actually, this looks intended and I'm not taking the piss. Some people are not taking the piss with it, that's what I should say. And it creates a good conversation of, no, we want the ability to go to a station and pay to have less faff. If I want stuff repaired, if I want stuff replaced, how is that going to happen? Do I have to constantly faff around? My cooler gets damaged, that's a relatively good cooler. Well, I want it repaired. What if it got so damaged that I removed it and I replaced it with another one? When I go back to this station and repair it all, back to the standard it was at, do you replace the cooler with a good one? Do you replace it with the new one I put in, but it's not as good? This stuff needs to be answered by CIG, and gameplay systems need to be put into place to support it properly, whatever they decide, right? So mixture of engineering, death of a spaceman, actual economy, and all this sort of stuff needs to be all sorted out. And they're important questions to have. They shouldn't cause this much anger to some people, because it's important to have those conversations. And you can't have those conversations and constantly get angry, because otherwise how do you communicate with anyone or get your point across? If just like, well, I don't want to communicate with you because you don't want to communicate. You want to communicate, but you're just communicating, I'm right. This is my right point. You must listen to me. I don't want to have those conversations with people. This is the right way of doing it. Well, and loads of people like that on all sides, right? Maybe not loads. But sometimes these sort of conversations get into this is the right way of doing things, this is the wrong way of doing things, you're right, you're wrong. Oh, okay, well, maybe there's some legitimate gameplay here. Maybe some people are asking for this to be supported properly. You might not think it's currently supposed to be supported properly, and then everyone gets into a confusion about what they're talking about and who said what and who's supporting why, and yeah, you get that. You often get that. In the letter from the chairman, Chris Roberts talked about focusing on stability in 2025. Playability, stability, yeah. Do you think that it's implied that this will be alongside content? Yes, but there's not as many features coming this year, right? So they're going to be working on stuff like getting the flight model nailed down, quantum travel nailed down and refined, maybe some sandworm stuff, some of the stuff they showed at CitizenCon, but there wasn't a huge amounts of new features, right? It was sort of like expansion of current gameplay and building upon that, rather than going, have loads of new stuff, have all this new gameplay with, I don't know, hacking, although they think hacking's relatively close, or all that sort of stuff. But a big focus on playability, but they're sort of there anyway, right? They sort of, to me, that went without saying. You say it's sad how many people have lost the ability to communicate. I like to have a rant sometimes, and I get grumpy and angry and lose my cool sometimes or whatever. I mean, on the weekend, I was playing board games. Me and one of my mates, Kit, who's Zin's the editor's best friend. Sometimes we get pretty heated with getting grumpy about a rule in a game, or we think people aren't listening to us. We're playing Oaths once, very can get quite intense as a co-op game and sort of making decisions and stuff. Yeah, I get grumpy sometimes. I think it's important. It's fine to be wrong. It's fine to apologise afterwards. It's not stupid for being wrong or whatever. I would say people are foolish or stupid if they think they are always right or they need to be right. That's dangerous, needing to be right. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Yeah. I love the unique item recovery workaround. Indeed. Some people see it as like, obviously we need the unique item recovery proper gameplay that CIG have promised us. And I like the idea of being able to rebuy parts of my ship or be able to go, bam, let's get the ship as I want it back in order just by repairing it. Don't mind paying for it. Don't mind even waiting some time to have it done. And some stuff should be exempt from that. You say, well, this is a rare item. It's going to cost loads of money to get it replaced or even repaired, or will be uninsurable. Have they ever mentioned, apart from player shops for crafting, the ability to sell our in-game purchase chips? I believe that is the plan. I believe they've mentioned it before. I don't know the current plans for it, but you should be able to sell that stuff in-game eventually. Not a good board game unless it could potentially ruin a friendship. No, I mean, I disagree with that. Probably not good friends if it could be ruined by a board game, but I do like intense parts of board games. You don't need to win to have fun. What else have we got? It's going well. Thank you very much, Nox. Do we know if there will be the ability to put larger weapons onto different ships? For example, can I upgrade size 1 weapons on the Aurora to maybe size 2 or 3? It depends on the hard point on the ship. So specifically, the hard point will limit what you can put on there. So some ships might have different hulls, whatever. Some ships might be able to have an attachment to give them more smaller weapons, or to change the loadout of a particular turret, or make it fixed and larger rather than sort of gimbaled on a turret or whatever. Do you know what I mean? There might be different types of weapon and different types of ammo and stuff like that as well. So expect a reasonable amount of customization and an evolution there in the future. Which I'd stuck with PvP being essentially opt-out like ED. So I just, you put it in different areas, right? And just make everyone aware of the different likelihood that this will occur in different areas. And have some places like Stanton or Castro or whatever, very unlikely to receive PvP in most of the areas, and very dangerous if you try and engage in PvP, unless you're like defending yourself, whatever. You have lots of security. For the most part. I mean, you can have certain areas of it You can have clever ways of going, well, I've disabled security in this area for a trap. But people need to be sort of aware that that can happen, and you're about to see that the common relays have come down, or some warning systems. Can we upgrade the hard points? So, we know there's going to be the ability to upgrade ship hulls as part of research and upgrading. There's a potentially there will be the ability as part of those upgrades to go increase the size of these hard points. That's possible. We don't know all the things that you're about to that upgrading a ship's hull will actually allow you to do. There's 5 tiers of upgrades for ship hulls, and you sort of have a choice every time you upgrade for different things. Makes no sense to put a size for weapon on a small ship. Maybe not so much at the moment, but maybe in the future there could be. Especially when there's more weapons at more sizes, more choice. But probably not. I mean, you've got a size 7 weapon. You've got the big ballistic Gatling on the Inferno, right? So, okay, maybe through the crafting of a ship, the better tier, we still need to confirm. Gotcha. Well, yeah, I mean, that's an I reckon, or they haven't fully discussed what those upgrades for ships will actually allow you to do. It may be ship by ship basis, probably potentially will be, but yeah, it's quite possible that that's the plan. Might not be. So it could be possible within a certain range, but a size gun has the size of an Aurora itself. No, size 5 gun isn't the size of an Aurora. Or size 7 gun is getting near the same length as an Aurora, right? It's pretty big potentially. What else do we? Yeah, I wish in a lot of situations everyone would be a bit more chill. This is the early server meshing tests that they showed at CitizenCon 2023. After 1.0 release, do you see CIG going to subscription model for continued revenue? So I think they're going to have voluntary subscriptions like they do now. That might expand into other stuff. We don't know the full range of monetization for Star Citizen after 1.0, after 1.0 is released and beyond. So they've basically said it is a buy-to-play game. So you buy it once, and then you don't need a subscription. I think they sort of have to maintain that now. I mean, if they needed to go full subscription, they would. If they need to go voluntary subscription, they could. They basically said the original plan was to sell ship packages, so get new players on board game packages with ships, and sell in-game currency, and potentially a couple of other things. I think they'll still sell ships, personally. I think that would be a huge moneymaker for them, and they just sell them basically 3-month exclusivity to a ship. You buy with the real money. Potentially, I say exclusivity, you're probably better to buy them off other players that have bought them with real money in game. That's an I reckon. They will update and develop that monetization model for 1.0, that's for sure. And exactly how, we don't know. CIG probably have quite a lot of plans for that now, though, as they push towards 1.0, and they've obviously got the developed marketing team and that sort of thing. It's an interesting one. We don't know yet. But they do need to make money after the release of the game, beyond just getting new players, right? when I know we're getting this year's engineering, maybe a couple of new ships. So yeah, probably a expanded flight model, lots of evolution there. Quantum, the new quantum travel stuff, the new quantum boost, almost certainly. So a load of the stuff they've showed at CitizenCon from 2024. So potentially the new weather stuff, but a load of new sort of areas, and potentially Nix, although that's might be a bit too early. Yeah, it's interesting that you get Star Citizen ads now on YouTube, right? And I saw them appearing up on IGN and stuff. So CIG very much pushing a traditional ad campaign for Star Citizen in its early access, which is what they're pushing now, calling it early access rather than alpha. Potentially they call it both, but there's been a marked difference now calling it early access by marketing and CIG. Yeah, fear of playability. And I think by the end of the year, we're going to have a big advertising campaign starting for Squadron 42. What do you think about CIG adding a card game into Star Citizen similar to Gwent and Witcher 3? So they've got there's a German guy who's made Squadrons, which is a very fun card game. Highly recommend it. But at the moment he's got the particular license he's got for it is like a fan license for it, so he's not allowed to make any money from it. But he's basically got a card game with these beautiful cards, a shiny one. Squadron's card game. It's a pretty good card game. I've played it a few times. Really enjoy it. I'll say a few times, 3 times. I played it, absolutely love it. I'm a board gamer and card gamer by heart. So potentially, that gets a little bit more developed and CIG supported officially, he could try and bring that into game, and that'd be great. And will we see PvE friendly systems? Yes. So I think Castra and potentially Stanton will be pretty PvE friendly. But if you're looking for like something super PvE friendly, there'll be places like Terra, Sol. I assume they'll just be like, these are super secure systems. Do you believe that the talk from Chris Roberts around stability being at the forefront this year is a good sign that they want the game stable for Squadron 42? Yes, 100%. Playability and that sort of focus is because they're getting Squadron 42 refined. They want the flight model done. Yeah. Doesn't say they're not going to have any new features this year. It's just there's more of a focus on playability than anything else. Do you think the criticism of how long this game is taking is unwarranted when you compare it to other games like GTA 6, far more complex? Yeah, so, okay. Are there reasons why it's taken so long for the development? Yes. Is it right to criticize it? Still, yes. The development has been delayed a lot and overinflated, and lots and lots and lots of additions been added that kept on expanding out. It is a level of feature creep. It's interesting, though, because it's not feature creep in the traditional way with Star Citizen. They've got the time and they've got the money to do it. It is just expanded features. So feature creep often can be like, and it's not going to happen. It's not vaporware. It's happening. They just go on, look, it's a long development cycle. And it's fine to criticize for that. It's fine to criticize Star Citizen for the delays, for the expanded development cycle, for pushing certain features, reprioritizing others, its monetization model, loads of stuff. I'm not here to protect the game. I love the project, warts and all. I think it's awesome, but I also see it as an interesting drama series to get involved with. They get stuff wrong sometimes, they get it right other times, they fix stuff, they break stuff. Love it. Lots of friends at CIG, and I genuinely think it's going to be a fantastic top-tier game when it's released. Even the 1.0 version, I think it's going to be pretty great. Star Citizen doesn't need subs. Eve charges for every Omega account, plus most players have more than one alt. Bill CCP never had a year in the last 20 years where they earned as much as CIG does. Yeah, Eve Online's an interesting one. I used to love Eve Online loads. Not so much in the last few years, but lots of lessons CIG can learn from them. We've talked about that. Criticisms, yeah, it's all good. Using the crafting bench and the 3D printer and the drone bay in the Carrack with crafting. What do I? What? So there is going to be a level, but there's more stuff coming with the Carrack in the future. There's going to be a level of crafting on it, I believe. Obviously, you've got the scout drones and stuff like that as well. Will we see pure PvE systems? I think PvP potentially can happen in lots of different places, but it will be foolish and you'll be largely protected from it. So I think like if someone attacked you, like the spaceport at Terra, you'd be relatively protected even if they did shoot you, right? Like, oh, I was taken out, but you've gone to hospital. They couldn't loot you because the security came. I'd mitigate it, right? I think that's what they do. What are your expectations? What do you feel is a realistic cadence for releasing systems post 1.0? Hard to tell, right? RCIG are going to want to... It's going to be mixed. So there are going to be some systems they want to just release because they're basic and add to exploration and expansion out for different minables and more space station gameplay, that sort of stuff. But there's also going to be systems which come with new gameplay or have alien systems and huge new missions and events in. And I think they're going to be releasing these sort of simultaneously. So you might see with some systems, it might be like the more mission orientated ones, you might see like 1 or 2 a year. And with the more exploration-y ones, you could again have another maybe 2 or 3 a year in addition to that with them. And they could probably expand those out much more easily, right? That's sort of my expectation. Probably in the range of 2 to 4 star systems a year after 1.0 release. Might be too many thinking about the sort of gameplay they want to get. They don't need to rush it either. They can go like, we've got 100 systems planned. We're not in any rush to get there. We'll do 2-3 systems a year. It's a huge amount of gameplay every year. Right? It'd be really interesting to know what CIG kind of their plans are for that, though. And that's sort of my, I reckon, I'm working it through my head. For those of us playing the CCU game, do you think we will hit a point of no return of applying CCUs? Oh my god, BMM and Orion paid off. So yeah, it's an interesting one, right? Obviously, the Bounty Merchant one's gone up hugely. And Carl Jones, who recently left CIG, talked about the gamification of the CCU system as well. So people that play the CCU game and try and get good deals on CCUs, buy them at the right times, and try and upgrade a ship as cheap as possible. Yeah, good on you. More power to you. You're about to get all this stuff in game as well, though, right? At the end of the day, CIG is still making money from those people that are sneakily getting CCUs. And I say sneakily, industriously, cleverly getting CCUs and CCUing up to get a ship. They're still making money from you. And they want you to be an avid player in their game. They want your money and they want your play. They want you play. Many of the ships have toilets. How do you see potty play integrated in the star system? Almost certainly be a hygiene rating of when you go to the toilet, use the toilet. There might be a small blurred animation or part of animation you can't see, or you like sit down or whatever. But expect there to be a level of hygiene rating that might be kind of partially obscured, where if you don't shower and you don't use the toilets, people are going to comment on it. So NPCs. In your opinion, Board, do you think 1.0 will include a friendly alien race, such as Banu or Tavaran? No. I think there might be a couple of NPCs of that persuasion in game, but they will be few and far between. That'd be my expectation. I think they'll work on some of the other aliens a lot more for Squadron 42 Episode 2. What else have we got? Do you think Star Citizen will realise Death of the Spaceman with bugs and speed of PvP deaths is an outdated idea? So, well, when the game's stable and has great logging and less bugs, it makes sense to put it in game. At the moment, it would just be frustrating and hellish, right? If you like trying to play Path of Exile or Diablo Hardcore with a load of bugs, you just suddenly... Psh. I died in Path of Exile 2 last night. No reason. There was literally no enemies on the screen. I've got like 8,000 energy shield and 76% resistances and everything. Running around a map, a lowish tier map. It was like level 78 enemies or something with my mate, and I just instantly died to something with nothing on screen. I have no idea how I died. I can imagine that being pretty frustrating. Have you had any updates towards medical gameplay? Space guns, using space juice, hitting someone enough to get them up and move them to a bed? Has there been any mention of having splints that we could use? Not really. So expect potions, med pens, and magical laser beams for most of the gameplay, then getting you to the med bed. Sounds like an invisible rock or asteroid. Well, I think there were like death flowers and stuff like that in Path of Exile 2. Apparently, like stuff can be underneath you and you not notice. But I'm pretty sure, although clearly proven wrong, I can't really get one hit by anything. There might be a couple of things that can one-shot me, but my character I built to survive. So just suddenly died. I was like, oh. It's annoying because you lose 10% of your experience, although I just leveled up, so I wasn't that annoyed. What's your opinion on whether or not CIG should wipe the 4.0 preview due to there being lots of exploits? No, it's not. As long as those exploits don't affect the game and the direction. If CIG look at it and go, look, we're not going to get the test data we want, or this is ruined gameplay, or we need to wipe for a bug reason, or it will make everything better, smoother, more stable. They'll wipe in those cases. If they don't need to wipe, or they're like it's quite a minor reason, they probably won't. I think a lot of the duping issues were blown out of proportion by some people, going, "Oh, there's not, you shouldn't be duping. This isn't unintended, or whatever." I didn't really care. I am more interested in people being able to play the game in the way that they want to at the moment, that test the things they want to test without as much faff. So I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. As long as you're not, duping super rare stuff and then just like flogging it on eBay or something, or using it to make huge amounts of money. As long as you're not like intentionally exploiting it, going, right, an exploit, hoo 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 hoo. I didn't really care. But that's just me, right? So Nyx is probably quite far through, and they've been working on Nyx for quite a while. It's going to be beyond Grey Box. It's going to be they'll want to build missions and more locations and that sort of stuff there. Also, they're going to probably want to have some narrative, interesting missions for getting you into the Nyx system and after the Nyx system launches. In the same way they had Save Stanton, and still have Save Stanton. We could have Nix by the end of the year. I think we'll see it at the very least at CitizenCon this year. It's hard to tell at the moment, though. It's like, I know they've been working on it loads. But it might not be a focus. There might be tons more work. But to me, it looks like, yeah, if they're pushing towards it, they could have it out by the end of the year. And if they need to wipe, they need to wipe, and I'm not going to complain. Were you surprised that Death of Spaceman wasn't outlined as part of 1.0? I think it is part of 1.0, though. They've just talked about it loads, and they don't exactly know how. Yes, I'm surprised it wasn't outlined, because I suppose there's lots of unanswered questions we have, but I suspect some of those they haven't fully answered themselves. What do you think about co-op missions no longer giving full payouts to the party? So they said that was a bug or something, right? That's annoying, because I obviously was encouraging people to do them as a party. Just a better missionary work for some of these things. Yeah, better to wipe after a few weeks rather than a couple months. Yeah, potentially. Yeah. Alright, really enjoy Path of Exile 2. I think it's an absolutely great game. Do you think there are any type of betting mechanic implemented despite the fact that players can buy UEC? Solution. So some countries have really strong restrictions on betting. That's one of the reasons I think you don't see casinos in Star Citizen, even though they'd be popular. What was the name? I remember the name of that mission giver you're talking about. Oh, it's Recco Battaglia. That's her, right? The one with the metal leg. I think it's Battaglia. I remember having this conversation with my Italian mate. He was trying to work out if it was an Italian surname. There's lots of stuff they've worked on for the next system. And they obviously moved some of it off to other places. My dream of Star Citizen is that they simply add a slight camera bob when you walk, because the current linear movement camera feels a bit awkward. Some of this stuff will evolve a little bit more. They're going to want it so that you don't feel motion sickness, and maybe you'll be able to turn some stuff on and off. Chicken gimbals. Chicken gimbals. Board, can you call your dev contacts and make a sandwich version of the Star Lancer? I do like the Star Lancer. I like it a lot more than the Freelancer. We need quality of life. That's true. I think that's a big focus on what Star Citizen are trying to do this year. Right. What else do we have, if anything? Boop, boop, boop. Paint Swen. So, I'm hoping that we have a huge level of customization for ships. So, lots of different components, lots of different tweaks to those components, lots of upgrades to those components with research and stuff, whatever. You can combine them, you can research them, you can evolve them into lots of different ways, lots of stats for them. Subcomponents, But also, I want customization of the internals and externals of your ship, both for paints. But I also want to be able to put lots of different things in my ships for like food dispensers and like lots of silly things, pianos, lots of flair items, but maybe not a lot of flair items. They actually give a small level of functionality to my ship in some way. So I want lots of customization. I desperately want the ability to paint my ship internally and externally to a good degree. Doesn't need to be like free painting, but I just want to be able to have ability to put colors, some patterns on it, bam. Some of them like more interesting, like a dragon or stuff around it, like a pre-made decal for certain ships. Essentially, that costs a load at Cousin Co's Custom Craft or whatever you'd have it done. But we want that. Don't know when it's coming. I do think it will be a big song and dance about it again when CIG are closer to it. What fits in the Star Lance attack landing bay? Argo Cutter. I don't actually know what fits in the Star Lancers. What's the over and under for working hauling missions in 4.0 right now? I haven't touched it since we dropped. So 4.0.1 is where I spend most of my time at the moment anyway, because 4.0 had some weird issues with missions and hauling and stuff. And I don't know the particular sort of routes to make money. Risk Odyssey, best guess when? Don't know. We'll have more information about that hopefully in February when they sort of release their content plans. We can sort of see what their plans are throughout the year to go, oh, is it likely they'll have the Odyssey? I don't think the Odyssey is super important for them. It's not a priority, right? How are you doing, Joe, buddy? Hope you're doing well, mate. EAG can't even give us salvage, freehand painting without... Oh, yeah. ETP? If you know, you know. What SCU capacity do you think we'll get for the SIT console? What Prospector looking? Presumed salvage round. Oh, the Misc Fortune, I think it's probably. I expect it to be similar to the Prospector, basically a salvage version with the saddlebags. Yeah, salvage. It might just be a different type of miner. Or a specialized miner. I mean, I think it's probably a salvage ship. Don't know about the SCU capacity. Probably. Are they really going to call it the Misc Fortune? Maybe. That's what the rumors were, right? That's what the leaks and rumors were. That stuff changes even if it was accurate at the time. Do you think CIG will have to wait to release the Zeus MR until after Bounty Hunting 2.0 comes in? So that's one of the things I think they might be working on for this year, because I do think it's not that far away. They've showed off lots of plans for that. They have the specific docs for that. They were grey boxing and white box. Well, they were white boxing, grey boxing that a while ago as well. And also I think it's good content for Stanton Pyro. Seems like a foreboding name. Well, Misc monetization. The Argo Tractor out now. Why bother with the Argo Cargo in 16 SU versus 2 SU? So, the think the tractor is basically going to give you the modularity, right, as well. And you'll be able to put those different modules in effectively. I'm hoping they make all of them modular. You expect the Pirate Caterpillar to change much in the future? RSI website doesn't say the hull is completed yet. It's because they haven't done the modules for it yet, right? The customization modules. Will CIG ever give us blood spatter? It's an interesting one, because obviously they have it as part of like scenes and screenshots and statics, but they don't really have it as part of characters. Some places in the world, you can, if you don't have blood splatter basically coming out of characters, you can have the age restriction on the game lower, or more supported by different countries and stuff like that as well. So it'll be interesting to see what CIG decide to do. I did not think it's essential. In fact, some of their blood tech, they sort of haven't really talked about it much. They showed it off at CitizenCon 2023, and then it disappeared from the engine demo. Looked a bit weird, but it disappeared from the engine demo, and they haven't really talked about it since. As far as a lawless system, what will the system go to when you don't really care for PvP, you just want to do PvE and logistics stuff? So at the moment it's Stanton, but Castra, or Castra, whatever it's called, Terra, places like that eventually. Since they're focusing on bug fixes and playability on the live servers, do you think this will slow the rollout of new ships already in concept? Not really. I think they've got teams that are working on them as well. Them and sort of gameplay area, shall we say. It's the sort of focuses that people that can do ships can also build buildings and missions and new environments, right? Do we have any idea how many hours Squadron 42 campaign may last? I think it's 20 to 30. I think it was 20 to 30. We'll have to see, right? Could be a lot longer. I think there's I think they basically said like 70 hours, but I think it's 30 to might have been 30 to 40 for your first playthrough, something like that. We'll have to wait and see. Well, I have to wait for a more definite answer, I suppose, from CIG. I like the idea of a hover light tank. Ship-to-ship docking with docking collars. When do you think they'll be in? So, the Legionnaire will. That's one of its focuses, is forcibly docking around another ship's docking collar. I think around that time they'll also have the better ship-to-ship docking. Potentially a ship we could see later this year. With the teaser having the same IMC set CMAT top panel as the Vulture, I think it's safe to say this was the Fortune. Are you talking about... Display, capture... Display... Okay. You're talking about this. I didn't know what ship this was in the newsletter. Looks Misk-like, right? Well, it might be a hull series. Could be the Fortune. Or the whatever the new Misk ship is. Okay. Maybe. No. Not going to think too much about it at the moment. I'll dig into it later. Yeah, so something more definitive rather than a final answer for them, I suppose I should say. Do you think they'll have a in case you missed it sale? So they had one last year. Why wouldn't they have a sale? So things that I think we'll see later this month, and in case you missed it sale, basically selling all of the ships that were previously on sale for 2024. The Lunar New Year, Chinese New Year event by the end of the year, by the end of the month, with gold and red and that sort of stuff. Year of the Pig in game question mark. That's the sort of main things. Probably 4.0.1, at least on the preview build as well, moving up from PTU. Are we going to get jetpacks Mandalorian style? Might get some evolution of the EVA packs to allow for jumping, don't know. It might get something that allows us for, maybe not parachuting, but surviving ejection as well, don't know. Sort of maybe. They did tease the Misk Fortune, didn't they, in the one of the IAE show? I think it was the Fortune they said. Question mark. Yes, they did tease that new Misk ship. Any idea when 4.0.1 will be live? I'm hoping by the end. Well, maybe we'll go to preview build within the next couple of weeks. I have no idea when that's going to go full live, although potentially mechanically meaningless whether it's preview or live, right? Stuff carries on. Look at the display panel. Oh, I don't know. I'm tired. What are you looking at? Let's have a look. It's a ship. It's a spaceship with some stuff going on in it. Definitely a Misk ship. You can tell that because it says Misk on the door. Beyond that, still a corridor, isn't it? Got some ship components and stuff going on. See you later, Riley. Mate, I'm gonna be dashing off in a second as well. Anyway, do you think we'll get the 600i rework before or after? Before 1.0, almost certainly. I mean, I'm hoping that it's almost done. Question mark. With the coming of the handyman missions, yes, indeed, 4.0.1 saw handyman missions. Will we have the opportunity to purchase RMC for a multi-tool in shops, or will we have to do salvage claims before we can repair outpost items? Oh, I see what you mean. I hope you'd be able to buy RMC, like ammo, effectively. Hope they remove 3.24.3 the next game update. Yeah, give us more people in 4.0. It's when it's stable enough, right? When it's refined enough. But I saw them demo some sort of alien dog that was helping NPC look for a person. So there's Copians and Marok in game now. The Copians are dogs. Effectively, they're in game. They've got more domesticated ones that the gangs use as well. Thanks, Board, for all the community, for what you do for the community and your videos. I watch while the insomnia kicks in. No worries at all. I feel you, buddy. But what else? Anything else exciting before I dash off? Oh, I see. So you're saying clearly a salvage ship. Gotcha. So you're saying it's This is clearly a salvage ship. Yeah, probably. I think Miss Fortune. We'll see. I think it's a salvage ship. We'll see. We'll see. Do you think we'll get the Perseus this year? I hope so. It is one of my favourite ships. I think it looks beautiful. They are working a lot on RSI, but they're also doing a load of stuff for Drake and the other manufacturers as well. They've got loads of staff now working on loads of different projects. I'm hoping a lot of them come to fruition when it comes to spaceships. Do you think we're about to play your own music in your ship in 1.0? Just play music on your computer. You don't need the game to support it. I mean, they did have the jukebox. And there might be weird sort of licensing issues with that. We don't know. You just play on your computer, right? Like, can I send emails from the terminal of my ship? Just Alt-Tab. Will CIG have auto-stack from your items? Expect a lot more quality of life improvements for inventories and hangars and that sort of stuff in the future. Things like that. Almost certainly. I can't say for sure, but come on. How long do you think development will take after they sort server meshing? Since they probably have a lot... Like, there's a load more stuff they want to develop far past 1.0. Dynamic server meshing is supposed to be as part of 1.0, according to Benoit, when I was talking to him, so... You could have 1.0 out in 2026, potentially. Hoping it's a Prospectus chassis that's salvage. Yeah, it could well be, right? It could literally be that. A more modular version of the Prospector. It's called actually Prospector, but salvage. Yeah, for me, if it's a salvage ship that uses the same saddlebags, great. I think that's a great idea. Right, I'm going to dash off because I'm going to get the podcast out from Sin and I. Thanks so much for joining me today. Genuinely appreciate it. We will be streaming a bit more and we'll be certainly playing the game more. I want to get more, at least a gameplay video specifically of Sin and I doing a mission or checking out something in-game and more than just covering the news and specific features and that sort of stuff as well. So we're going to be expanding out some of the stuff we do on the channel, especially with 4.0 hopefully being a lot more playable in the near future. I hope you're doing well, Joe, mate. I have to catch up at some point. Great to see all of you here. J-Bed, you're a beautiful boy. Wally Type, I love you, as you well know. So much for people being here. Genuinely appreciate it. If you want to contact me, you can get me on my Discord, discord.gg/BoredGamer. Come say hi. We'll be playing Star Citizen, testing out Star Citizen, talking about 4.0, 4.0.1. Hopefully we'll have a In Case You Missed It sale and all that sort of jazz in the not too distant future. GOG talking about... I want to start Citizen financials, like I'm still waiting on them as well. Thank you so much for watching. Want to support the channel, click the links below, click the join button, that really helps. You can donate as well, subscribe, all that sort of jazz. There's NordVPN links, there's WI tracker links. That goes to help the channel as well. If you want those things, get them. Don't if you don't. Thanks very much for watching. I'll love you and leave you. Oh, what I will do is I will... You are watching on Watch. I'll send you over to someone else. I'll send you over to the beautiful... I'll send you over to Moist Noodle, as I have seen the boy for a little while. Do that. Flash. Trade. Bloop. Not seen the boy since CitizenCon. Arranged some stuff with some content creators. Thank you so much for watching. Love you loads. Gonna leave you now.